Okay. Again, thank you all for joining the webinar today featuring the GI Bill comparison tool. I want to go ahead and introduce ourselves. My name is Rick Lee. I'm a digital services expert with the U.S. Digital Service and a VA employee. Since September of 2015, I've been the product lead for the GI Bill comparison tool. My background is in product design, and I've led a number of government technology efforts, including playing a lead role in the Recovery Act website development and having led the development of a grants management package for the Department of Energy to track $11 billion worth of Recovery Act grants spending. My role today is to present to you the tool, its features and functionality, and to answer any questions that you may have. I'd also like to introduce Barrett Bogue, also from the VA. Barrett?
Yeah, hi everybody. My name is Barrett, and I am the departmental lead for GI Bill Public Relations. We primarily run our website and Facebook page. I like to say I'm in the empowerment business and really want to help veterans become informed consumers, and certainly the comparison tool has been a very powerful product to that end. My biggest claim to fame is that I'm a product of the GI Bill. I used it to earn 2 degrees from the University of Tennessee after I returned from Iraq. I'm a former Marine, and I've been working with VA since 2007 and with the GI Bill during the same time. Very grateful to be here. I'm going to answer what questions I can and certainly support Rick, and we'll talk about any sort of policy or recommendations under consideration by the department during this webinar. Thanks, Rick.
Thank you very much, Barrett. Okay, so today we want to talk about vets.gov, and more specifically, we want to take you on a tour of the new GI Bill comparison tool. Our goal here is to demonstrate the comparison tool as it exists today and show you one of the new feature enhancements that we'll be rolling out as part of the comparison tool product roadmap. There's a number of features built into Google Hangouts that we hope you'll use to provide feedback to our team and ask any questions you may have regarding the tool. To ask a question via the tool, you need to be signed in using your Google account. Google will not allow anonymous questions to be posed. So if you're signed in, you can simply look to the bottom right of your screen and click on the Ask a New Question button, which is green, and simply type your answer and click Submit. If for any reason you want to delete your questions, there's an option at the top right of the question, a little drop-down menu, and you can select Delete from that. One of the other features that we'd like to have you take advantage of is the applause or boo feature. As we go through the presentation, you may hear things or see things that you particularly like or dislike, and we'd love to hear about it. So to like or dislike something, simply click on the thumbs up or thumbs down buttons that are on the bottom of the screen just underneath the video presentation that you should be seeing right now. So I want to talk about vets.gov real quick. We released a beta version of vets.gov on November 11th, 2015, Veterans Day. This introduction to vets.gov was meant to announce the initiative to the world. It currently features content for education and disability benefits that's written in plain language to move the focus of the site to the veteran, not the organizational structure of the VA. The site is 100% Section 508 compliant to permit easy access for disabled veterans, and it utilizes a responsive design technique used to make it easy to view and use on mobile devices from anywhere. In addition to the content areas that I mentioned, we also optimized 3 key tools. The Veterans Employment Center, a lightweight, easy-to-use facility locator, and the focus of our conversation today, the GI Bill comparison tool, version 2.0. We also introduced a feedback forum, which you can find if you scroll to the bottom of any vets.gov page. Please feel free to send us your ideas, thoughts, comments. We would absolutely love to hear from you. Our goal for vets.gov is to provide one place for vets and their families to access their hard-earned benefits. As vets.gov matures, you'll see a variety of features and functions come online, such as single sign-in authentication, which means you won't need to remember multiple usernames and passwords to access the different benefit areas that you need. You'll also be able to access services and forms online. Our goal for vets.gov is to have 75% of the content and services that you access and use migrated into the site by December 2016. So how are we doing this? The fundamental guiding principle for vets.gov is the application of human-centered design practices to everything we do to ensure that the tools and the content that we develop meet the needs of the veteran. We like to call out several key methods for achieving a user-centric experience. You may notice the light blue band above the VA logo on vets.gov. We're designing and developing this product in the open and using the feedback forum that I showed you to gather feedback from vets.gov users such as yourselves. We also have a dedicated team of user research specialists conducting research directly with veterans. And if you'd like to participate in that research, please send an email to the address on the screen. And I've also included it on the Google Hangouts page, as well as in the Showcase app of this broadcast. We also like to call out the fact that all of our development efforts occur in publicly accessible repositories on a tool called GitHub. This allows third-party developers and designers to leverage our code and data to build their own applications. This approach provides our small digital services team with force multiplication by enabling civic-minded developers to develop their own ideas to help vets and providing those developers with a shortcut to make their jobs just a little bit easier. But today we'll be talking mostly about the second iteration of the GI Bill comparison tool. It's quite likely that some of you used the older version that Digital Services created back in 2014. Before that version of the tool was created, we calculated that student vets needed to identify and visit about 17 different sites to tease out the information required to calculate and understand their estimated benefit. The goal of the GI Bill comparison tool was to refine that experience down to a single click. For version 2.0, we took a look at what the lives of a core group of transitioning vets looked like outside of the context of the military and VA benefits. What sites would they be visiting to find things like apartments, cars, and household items? What digital experiences were they having as they began their transition toward becoming both a civilian and student veteran? And how could we redesign the comparison tool to align the governmental user experience with the commercial user experience? We built the tool for essentially two primary user groups. One is those users looking for specific information about a school that they're already attending or are already planning to attend. And the second group being users browsing for more generalized information as they negotiate the decision-making landscape that includes what school to attend. So with all of that background, let's go ahead and take a look at the GI Bill comparison tool. Okay, you'll notice that the GI Bill comparison tool lives inside vets.gov, so it contains all of the vets.gov branding and is quite congruous with the rest of the vets.gov experience. Before we get into the meat and potatoes here, I wanted to also call out a few of the static content areas. We understand, and we've heard from vets that using the GI Bill benefits is a process. There's a workflow involved. And we wanted to make sure that we were able to provide additional resources aside from just the tool to help student veterans navigate through that workflow. Additional resources contains links to a variety of content from exploring your career straight through to succeeding in school and finding employment post-matriculation. We also wanted to make sure that we had the value proposition for the student vet that's engaging with this site. What do they get for their time investment in using the GI Bill comparison tool? And to that end, we added a quick, short little teaser describing the purpose of the tool and the benefit that you get from using the tool, what you can learn. So using the tools can be as simple as entering in a school name and a click. 70% of all students told us that the defaults that you see here under the Tell Us About Yourself section relate to them and meet their needs directly. And if that's the case, let's talk about that 70%. If that's the case, the user can actually simply come in, enter a school name. In this case, we'll use Georgetown University. Never spell while people are watching. Click on Georgetown University, and I'm taken to a page that gives me a profile with all the relevant information available for Georgetown University. The second user group that we talked about were users browsing for a more generalized experience. And for those users who may not have committed to a school yet or committed to a track yet, we also wanted to provide a way for them to browse things in regional areas. So in this case, we want to look at, say, schools in the city of Washington. Yeah. Okay. All I have to do is click search, and I can see all results within our database for the city of Washington. We're working to refine our search results. Right now, search results include city names as well as anytime that the search query matches the name of the school, but we're working to fix that. We have, however, provided the ability through refinement, a very common commercial technique, to allow students to take these 269 results and drive down into specifically what they're looking for. So if they're looking for a school as opposed to an on-the-job training program, they can select schools and refine down to 156 results. If they're looking for a school specifically in Washington, D.C., they can select D.C., and we're now down to 82 results within the city of Washington. And you notice the search results updating as we go. For student vets, we also recognize that there are a number of programs that we wanted to allow students to pick from and find. These are multi-select or single select. So these are the 11 universities in the city of Washington that have student veteran groups. I can also select yellow ribbon programs, and I'm now seeing the 9 results for the city of Washington that contain or that have yellow ribbon programs and student veteran groups. We wanted to show as much of the relevant information as possible on these search results pages. What we heard from vets was that it's an extremely important value, the number of GI Bill students that attend those universities. We also wanted to make sure that we are putting the estimated benefit values right up front. From looking at search results, one of the other things that we wanted to provide was the ability to see what your benefits might look like based on changing criteria. So let's suppose you were considering maybe using the Montgomery GI Bill Chapter 30 instead of post 9/11. We have the ability in real time to affect those search results and show the benefit values right here on the screen across multiple schools. That can also carry into different enlistment service periods, as well as online and online and on-campus schools, which, as you can see with the post 9/11 bill, does change your housing stipend. So by providing these results, we're giving that generalized view of the world and in a regional space. Let's say the student in particular wanted to explore Georgetown University in greater detail. The student or the institution profile page provides a variety of information. The page is structured in a hierarchical perspective. So we're saying that Georgetown University, and then we're providing a variety of overview style information. Again, representing the number of GI Bill students, along with a number of helpful tips on each of these data points that can allow vets to go in and get a further explanation of what these mean. One of the things that we had noticed is that a lot of veterans, as they enter the GI Bill comparison tool, are going back and forth also with the college scorecard. And we wanted to include data points from the college scorecard to make this experience seem more congruous. So the data points that you see on the right, program type, locale, size, are pulled directly from the college scorecard. Again, providing the ability to instantly and quickly see your benefits, change your chapters, and understand what your estimated benefits will be based on the selections that you've chosen. Scrolling down the page a little bit more, we've provided a veteran summary of programs that are available at this particular university. Checkboxes meaning, or check marks meaning that the program is at this university, X's meaning that it is not. And then we get down into the benefits calculator. One of the things about this site that I wanted to call out too before I do the benefits calculator is that the content sections are built in modular in a modular framework, and what this allows mobile users to do is condense the view and perspective so that they can limit their scrolling, because we have quite a bit of information on this page. But for the purposes of this conversation, I'll go ahead and just keep showing you this on a desktop. The calculator is something that we are working to redo, and we would love to get some input from you on ways to improve this. We've heard recently from several people that kicker information could be defined a little more clearly. We would like to create some content and explain exactly what that is. We've also made a few things easier for you. So as you go in and use this tool, we're populating the tuition amount for this particular school and the books and supplies stipends. If you were to have a scholarship available to you, adding that information into the calculator instantly updates your results. Your enrollment status in terms of time can be entered, as well as the school calendar that your particular school or program follows. And following that, a breakdown of how you will receive that benefit. So the calculator, we recognize, could use a little love again, and we would love to hear your feedback and input on that. The next big section that we like to call out is the outcomes measures section. Currently, the data that we're reflecting in this is incomplete. So we have some VETS data for four-year programs in terms of retention rates, and we're still collecting data, veteran-specific data for the other 3 points for this particular school. If we were to look at a two-year school, you would see these data points populated. We wanted student vets to be able to compare how veterans are succeeding in each school environment, contrasted with how all veterans are succeeding, and also what the national average is for each of these data points. Again, we offer explanations for what each data point means and how it should be interpreted and can be interpreted. And I wanted to make sure that we let you know that I think around August, we should have more data for four-year schools for veteran-specific data points. As we continue to scroll down the page, you see additional information for veterans, accreditation, as well as tuition policy for veterans, single point of contacts for programs, et cetera, et cetera. One of the areas that we also wanted to call out was caution flags. Georgetown does not currently have any caution flags or student complaints collected, but we feel that that's an important component to inform veterans about. So I want to be clear that I'm not picking on any given school here, just calling one up that I know has caution flags listed. So as I go into search results and I review the schools within these search results, I'm notified quickly that there is a caution flag and a potential issue for students to be aware of. Clicking on that caution flag will take me to each campus's specific profile page, and clicking on it one more time will actually take me to the caution flags and complaints section of the profile page. On this section, we again repeat this yellow caution flag theme, as well as presenting the reasons for why this institution received a caution flag. And these reasons are as plain language as they can possibly be. However, we're also providing additional information to explain how those work.
Hey, Rick, this is Barrett. Can I chime in?
Sure.
So a caution flag is, it's yellow. It's got the exclamation mark. It really is there designed to grab your attention and to nudge users who are searching for programs of education and comparison tool to pay attention to what's happening to that institution within the marketplace. And certainly VA plays a role in how we protect veterans, but the Department of Ed and FTC and DOD and even the Security and Exchange Commission, they play, you know what, I left out DOJ, Department of Justice. They all play a role as well, especially in those for-profit schools. So the objective of a caution flag is really to showcase actions that are happening which you may not otherwise be aware of. So it's just one more piece of information, and because we have it up as a caution, you really should. I mean, it's meant literally caution when you research, when you search for this program. Pay attention to the flag reason and why we have this caution flag up for this program. Thanks, Rick.
Thank you, Barrett. Also wanted to call out the complaint system. And we have complaints captured by campus and by all campuses, rolled up by all campuses. So we have the complaint type in the far left column, the complaints and enumerated in the middle column, and then the complaints for all campuses of DeVry on the right, in the right column. Again, additional explanations are provided here as you dive into some of the VA content as well, the other VA content, I should say. Additionally, you can download all data on all schools. We keep an Excel file of all of the data in this database for anybody's use, whether you're providing analytics or you're just interested in doing your own comparison. You can download that file. It's fairly large. I believe it's around 10 megabytes, but the data is all available and open. And if you are interested in building a tool, there's the data that we are using right here.
Yeah, Rick, I would also add that data is very valuable if you're a student who is interested in research or you have any type of research projects. Again, and like Rick said, in an effort to be transparent, every single piece of data behind the GIABIL comparison tool are publicly available right here. It is a big file. It does take just a little bit to download, but it's all there plain as day for you to see and certainly take advantage of. Thanks,
Barrett. Additionally, if at any time you or your users were to need additional information, the About This Tool link provides extensive information on the tool, the methodologies used in aggregating a lot of this data and the calculations involved, as well as detailed explanations on benefits. And this is something that Barrett and his team maintain, and it's updated frequently. So this data is changing fairly often to be augmented and provide additional information to you. So I'm going to, that pretty much covers the tool itself. We would like to keep as much time available and open for comments and questions. So I'm going to go ahead and switch back to the presentation. One second. Okay. Now we'd like to hear from you. So now that you've seen the tool, we'd like to take a look at the next feature enhancement from our product roadmap, school ratings. The goal of this feature is to provide the user with a peer-rated system for evaluating schools based on 4 key criteria that are important to student vets, plus an overall rating. The ratings will appear both in search results and on the school's detail page, shown here. Actually, I'm a few slides ahead. There we go. Shown here to provide an at-a-glance overall rating. Our plan is to provide the ability to rate via the comparison tool and on a variety of other pages. Credibility is the single most relevant attribute of a rating system. To ensure that the ratings provided are credible, permissions to rate will be limited to veterans and their families. To further reduce the chance that the system can be gamed, We will also be setting a limit on the number of institutions that each user ID can cast a vote for. Logging in will be required, and we will authorize the user's ability to rate by having the rating system confirm their veteran status using credentials available via the DS logon system. Similar to other content on the site, the details of the rating system will reside in a collapsible modular container, as you can see here. In the detailed view, we're providing the user with a detailed breakdown of how their peers rated the school. This detail includes the average star ratings for each criteria calculated as an average for all ratings. We also want to foster as much transparency into the ratings data as possible. The distribution of how users rate each criteria is also provided on Click to allow users to see not only the average of all ratings, but how many users voted for each star value for each criteria. Understanding what the criteria ratings are based on is critical for both veteran rating the school and for the user viewing the school's ratings. So to facilitate that understanding, we've created detailed definitions of each rating criteria to ensure clarity and a shared understanding of the meaning of each. This guidance is presented without the need to click or roll over to ensure that it's as accessible and as obvious as possible. Please do submit any questions you may have or comments about the rating system through the Q&A interface, and we'll review those after this next exercise. But we do want to ask you a series of questions, 6 questions, 3 about ratings and 3 about the tool in general. Google Hangouts on Air only permits thumbs up or thumbs down responses en masse. So the answers to these questions will be binary. Please simply indicate a thumbs up or a thumbs down response to each question. If you'd like to explain your response or provide additional comments, please feel free to add your comments to the events page on Google. Okay, well, here we go. So simply thumbs up or thumbs down. I believe the rating system described to be a valuable addition to the GI Build comparison tool. And we'll give a few seconds for people to rate. Okay. The second question we wanted to ask you is, or statement we'd like you to evaluate is, I would use this system to rate my school or schools. I would use this system to rate my school or schools. Okay, and the last question about the ratings tool is, based on the information presented, I would trust ratings displayed on the GI Bill comparison tool. Okay, I'm going to go on to the general questions about the comparison tool itself. So again, simple thumbs up, thumbs down. Before this event, I was aware of the GI Bill comparison tool. Okay, second question. I have used the GI Bill comparison tool, either version. Okay, and our last question. I would recommend the GI Bill comparison tool to a friend. Okay, That concludes the portion, this portion anyway, of the webinar where we're speaking out to you. I think we'd like to take questions from you all, if you would like to provide any at all. I don't see anything on the questions list so far. I do see a lot of responses coming in on the thumbs up, thumbs down. While you may be formulating or entering your questions, I wanted to let you know that you can get more information on vets.gov by contacting VA vets.gov-team at va.gov. We also are actively recruiting volunteers to participate in user research, and the student veteran groups are on the top of our list for the GI Bill comparison tool. If you'd like to participate in user research, please send an email with your contact information and when you may be available to feedback@va.gov. And if you have any questions about branding or media relations for vets.gov or any general vets.gov questions, you can email Martin Taylor at va.gov. That's martin.taylor@va.gov. He's with comms. You can also get in touch with Barrett via the Google Hangout page. I'm sure he can answer any GI Bill specific questions. Barrett, did you have anything you'd like to add?
Well, only that I'm really grateful for everybody's time. We are excited about the direction the comparison tool is going. And we think that adding ratings is just going to make it that much more powerful of a consumer tool. And you all are our customers, and we care about your experience with the GI Bill. So I highly encourage you to submit any kind of feedback you can for ways to improve your experience, certainly ways that we can improve the GI Bill comparison tool and find it. Rick, I really appreciate you organizing this.
Thank you. I appreciate everybody's participation as well. And thank you, Barrett, for joining me on this webinar. There will be a recording available of the webinar at this event address. It will also be on YouTube, and I'll place the link on YouTube as well. I'm sorry, on here as well to YouTube. If you come in and view the event, or you have anybody in your organizations that you think would benefit from the event, and they can come in through Google Hangouts on air, they can actually go through this presentation and still provide thumbs up, thumbs down voting. They can also ask questions after the fact. We'd love to hear from anybody and everybody. Again, Barrett, thank you very much. And thank